The magnificent mansion of millionaire Harrison Gray stood majestically atop a verdant hill on the outskirts of New York, where vast meadows embraced the tranquil atmosphere. Its modern architecture blended seamlessly with classic touches, boasting exquisite lines and carefully selected stones that created a luxurious yet cozy living space. From afar, the shimmering lights of the mansion reflected on the ground like tiny stars twinkling in the night sky, composing a perfect picture of nature intertwined with opulence. 4 years ago, Harrison Gray's life was irrevocably changed when he lost his beloved wife Sophia in a tragic car accident. This devastating event not only robbed him of his love, but also left deep, unhealed wounds. Since then, Harrison had become cold and withdrawn, his only companion being his son Oliver, a 10-year-old boy, paralyzed from the waist down and requiring special care. In the years that followed, Harrison went through 5 nannies in a single year, but none could soothe his pain and anxiety. With each change, he hoped to find the right person to forge a strong bond with his son, but the result was always disappointment and a sense of failure. Every morning, as the first rays of sunlight crept through the thick curtains, the gray mansion would come alive. Laughter echoed through the grand hallways, the hurried footsteps of the staff, and the lively chatter of the previous nannies filled the air. But within this vast space, Harrison maintained his privacy and silence, dedicating most of his time to his business, trying to forget his pain by immersing himself in ambitious real estate and investment projects. One autumn morning, as golden leaves fell gently and fresh air filled the surroundings, Harrison decided it was time to try someone new. After countless tiring interviews and moments of discouragement, he finally chose Mia Collins, a woman with sincere eyes and a warm heart. Mia not only had experience caring for children with disabilities, but also captivated Harrison with her calmness and patience in every answer. Her confidence and personality, combined with the unique fashion style, made her stand out and attract attention from the very first glance. Mia Collins arrived like a breath of fresh air, bringing vibrancy and positive energy to the gray mansion. With her long black hair neatly tied back, bright eyes, and a constant smile, Mia was more than just a nanny. She was an emotional companion, able to listen and understand Oliver's thoughts and anxieties. Her fashion sense was a blend of modern and classic, with bold colors and unique accessories, creating a stylish yet professional appearance. After Mia, Oliver became a stranger. As Mia stepped into the grand house, she brought with her not only experience in caregiving skills, but also belief and hope. Her presence promised positive changes, helping Harrison rediscover joy and rebuild his relationship with his son. Mia understood that being Oliver's nanny was not just a job, but a tremendous responsibility. She knew that each day with Oliver was an opportunity to help him overcome his physical and emotional challenges, to gradually open up and find faith in life again. Harrison sat in his spacious office, the large glass windows overlooking the lush green hillside. He held a pencil in his hand, carefully reviewing each clause in the employment contract Mia had just received. He understood that confidentiality and camera surveillance were not only legal requirements, but also his way of protecting his only son from potential risks. With a serious yet thoughtful expression, Harrison invited Mia to sit beside him. "Mia, this is the employment contract. It includes strict confidentiality clauses and requires acceptance of camera surveillance throughout the house," Harrison explained frankly. "I know this request may make you uncomfortable, but I need to ensure Oliver's safety and maintain transparency within my home. Mia looked at Harrison with sincerity in her eyes, sensing the worry and love he had for his son. I understand, Mr. Harrison. I have nothing to hide, and I fully respect your decision to protect Oliver. I commit to keeping all information about your family confidential and adhering to all the terms of the contract. Harrison nodded gently, relieved that Mia agreed. Thank you, Mia. I believe you are the right person to help Oliver and my family through this difficult time. Mia's first day at the Gray Mansion began with basic tasks, helping Oliver with physical therapy, preparing meals, and cleaning the house. That morning, Mia spent time with Oliver in the exercise room, guiding him through exercises to improve his mobility. However, things didn't go as smoothly as Mia had hoped. When it was time for breakfast, Mia prepared a warm bowl of porridge for Oliver, hoping to encourage him to eat properly to maintain his health. Oliver, please eat this porridge. There are other delicious dishes too, Mia gently coaxed. Oliver, with a contemplative look and his lower body immobile, refused adamantly. He threw the bowl of porridge away, splattering it across the room. I don't want to eat anymore. I don't want to depend on anyone, Oliver shouted, his voice filled with frustration. Mia stood still for a moment in surprise, then softened her voice. Oliver, this porridge is very good for your health. I just want to help you get stronger. You can refuse if you don't want it. Oliver looked at Mia with cold eyes, then turned away, leaving a tense atmosphere in the room. Mia sighed, knowing that building trust with Oliver wouldn't be easy. However, she was determined not to give up. If you don't want to eat this, we can try something else. I'm here to help you, not to force you. While Mia tried to be patient with Oliver, the members of the Gray household, from the maids to the previous nannies, couldn't help but look at her with strange and questioning eyes, their gazes lingering on her unique fashion style. The outfits with bold colors and unique accessories seemed out of place in the formal environment of the mansion. Some whispered about her, creating awkward situations whenever Mia appeared. Despite noticing the judgmental looks from those around her, Mia didn't let it affect her work. She knew that her main task was to care for Oliver, and the satisfaction of her salary, along with the feeling of fulfilling her duties, were her biggest motivations to overcome any challenges. Mia always kept a smile on her face and continued to work with optimism, hoping that patience and love would gradually change the relationship between her and Oliver. One afternoon, as the golden hues of sunset painted the house, Mia decided to try a different approach with Oliver. She brought a book about wondrous worlds and invited him to read along. Oliver, would you like to hear about a place where you can soar among the clouds? Oliver, though still hesitant, his eyes began to sparkle with curiosity. Really? What's so special about it? Mia smiled and began to tell a story about a magical kingdom where boys and girls could fly in the sky, explore new lands, and meet mystical creatures. Gradually, Oliver began to listen and even chuckled softly, feeling the warmth and sincerity in Mia's voice. From these small moments, the relationship between Mia and Oliver gradually blossomed. Despite the challenges ahead, Mia believed that patience and love would help the boy overcome his psychological barriers, and the Gray family would rediscover the joy and connection they had lost. In the following days, Mia continued to find ways to connect with Oliver, from playing his favorite games to sharing personal stories and experiences. Harrison, for his part, began to notice the positive change in the atmosphere of the house, and his heart gradually healed with Mia's presence. In the peaceful setting, amidst nature, in the city's luxury, the story of the Gray family continued to unfold, promising touching moments, lessons about love and patience, and unexpected surprises on their journey of healing and rebuilding the father-son relationship. The first few days of Mia's time at the Gray Mansion left a deep impression on the whole family. However, what Harrison Gray noticed most were the positive changes in his son Oliver. From a boy who was naturally quiet, easily angered and withdrawn, Oliver gradually opened up more with Mia's presence. Harrison, who used to be consumed by work and loneliness, began to sense this difference. Every evening, after tidying up and preparing for the new day, Harrison would often sit in his large office, turn on his computer screen, and review the footage from the home security camera system. Initially, he just wanted to make sure everything was running smoothly and safely for Oliver. But gradually, Harrison began to realize that these videos were not only proof of Mia's care, but also precious moments witnessing his son's recovery. One evening, Harrison decided to review a particular recording. On the screen, he saw Mia gently helping Oliver with his breathing during a moment of breathlessness. Mia's soothing and patient voice echoed, guiding the boy step by step to breathe deeply and relax. Mia was not merely a caregiver. She was like a friend, understanding and empathizing with Oliver's pain. Harrison sat quietly, his eyes glued to the screen. He felt a strong wave of emotion wash over him, a feeling he hadn't experienced in a long time: warmth and hope. Harrison's long, cold heart seemed to be melting in the face of Mia's gentleness and dedication. He realized that perhaps he had been too focused on work and had forgotten to care for himself and his son. Unable to contain his emotions, Harrison got up and walked out onto the balcony, gazing at the green hillside bathed in moonlight. He recalled the days when his family was happy together, before the tragic accident tore them apart. Mia's arrival was like a ray of light shining into the empty house, bringing hope for a new beginning. The next day, Harrison decided to approach Mia differently. Instead of just observing from afar, he started spending time talking to her. One afternoon, after Oliver had fallen asleep, Harrison invited Mia to sit down in the living room. The warm yellow lights illuminated the space, creating an intimate atmosphere. "Mia, thank you for everything you've done for Oliver and my family," Harrison began, his voice deep but filled with emotion. "I know I've been too busy and distant, but your presence has brought many positive changes to us." Harrison took a deep breath, feeling the growing connection between himself and Mia. "I think it's time for me to change. I want to spend more time with Oliver and rediscover joy in life. Thank you for helping me realize that." Mia nodded, her eyes sparkling with understanding. "Mr. Harrison, I'm always ready to support you and Oliver. Let's build a positive and happy environment for your family together." From that moment on, the relationship between Harrison and Mia became closer than ever. Harrison began to reduce his workload and spending more time with Oliver, joining him in physical therapy sessions and playing light games. Mia's presence not only helped Oliver recover physically, but also provided invaluable emotional support for the entire family. One sunny spring day, Harrison decided to organize a small picnic in the mansion's garden. He invited Mia and Oliver to join, hoping to create beautiful memories and strengthen the bond between the family members in the cheerful atmosphere filled with laughter. Harrison felt true happiness that he hadn't experienced in a long time. These small but meaningful changes began to soothe the deep wounds in Harrison Gray's heart. Mia's patience and compassion not only helped Oliver regain his joy and confidence, but also helped Harrison find himself again. In the peaceful setting amidst nature and the city's luxury, the Gray family began to write new chapters filled with hope and love, promising to overcome all challenges and difficulties in the future. On a gentle autumn evening, as the golden hues of sunset painted the Gray mansion, Harrison Gray decided to step out of his spacious office to join the family dinner with Oliver and Mia. This was the first time in months that Harrison had actually sat down with his son and the nanny for a meal, a moment he had long awaited, but also filled with apprehension. The kitchen exuded the enticing aroma of delicious food that Mia had prepared. The dining table was set, simply but colorfully, with fresh green vegetables, juicy fruits, and appealing main courses. Mia, with a radiant smile, had taken care of every little detail to create a meal that was not only nutritious, but also brought joy to the whole family. Oliver sat in the middle, his face bright and his eyes sparkling with happiness. For Harrison, this was the first time he had seen his son truly smile after those long months of stress and worry. Oliver began to tell his imaginative stories, his eyes shining as he described himself as a brave captain conquering the vast ocean. That was honestly. H was the one who was the most pale in skin. His hair seemed to fall out of his head. His eyes glowed longer than the rest of his face. "Dad, today I discovered a secret island. It has strange creatures and priceless treasures," Oliver recounted excitedly, his hands gesturing as if presenting an imaginary treasure map. Harrison sat beside him, sensing the positive change in his son's demeanor. He recalled the days when Oliver was quiet, often crying and refusing all of Mia's care efforts. But now, the boy was full of energy and creativity, something Harrison had never seen before. "Mia taught me how to draw maps and tell stories. You're so smart and creative, Oliver," Harrison said with a warm smile, feeling a sense of satisfaction and happiness spreading within him. Mia sat beside them, listening to Oliver's story with loving eyes. "Oliver, that's wonderful. You have such a rich imagination," she commented, glancing at Harrison as if to assure him that she was there to support his family. In that moment, Harrison felt that he was no longer a lonely man. Mia's presence not only aided Oliver's physical recovery, but also soothed the loneliness in his own heart. He realized that even though life could be full of challenges and difficulties, with love and support from those around him, everything was possible to overcome. After dinner, the family gathered in the living room, enjoying the pastries Mia had prepared. Warm yellow lights illuminated the space, creating a cozy and unknown terror to come. Oh, that shouldn't put a misleading on anyone. Intimate atmosphere. Oliver continued to recount his imaginary adventures, while Harrison listened with a smile, appreciating the joy his son brought Mia. "Thank you for everything you've done for my family," Harrison said, his voice deep but full of emotion. "Your presence has brought wonderful changes to us. I'm truly grateful to have you here." Mia replied with a gentle smile. "You're welcome, Mr. Harrison. I'm just doing what I can to help Oliver. When support your family, seeing Oliver happy is my greatest joy." Harrison looked at Mia with eyes full of respect and gratitude. He realized that, over the past few months, Mia had become more than just a nanny. She had become an essential part of the Gray family. Her patience, compassion, and love for Oliver had helped him regain his faith and hope. As night fell, the bright moonlight streamed through the large windows, illuminating the living room. Harrison sat beside Oliver, gently patting his son's shoulder. "My dear boy, I'm so proud of you. Always keep your faith and continue to dream no matter what difficulties you face." Oliver looked up, his eyes shining with confidence and happiness. "Thank you, Dad. I will try my best to become a real captain." In that moment, Harrison felt his heart warmer and more hopeful than ever. He knew that even though life might still be full of challenges, with the love and support from Mia and Oliver, the Gray family would overcome any obstacles together and build a brighter future. In the following evenings, Harrison not only devoted his time to work, but also spent more time enjoying precious moments with his family. He began to participate in shared activities like reading with Oliver, preparing delicious meals with Mia, and even joining his son in physical therapy sessions. This positive change not only helped Oliver's recovery, but also revitalized the relationship between father and son, creating a warm and loving family environment. In the peaceful atmosphere of the Gray Mansion, the light of love and connection began to spread, promising better things for the whole family. Harrison realized that life could still be beautiful and meaningful, despite the pain and loss of the past. With Mia's presence, in the joy Oliver brought, he knew he had found a part of himself that he had once lost. On a cold autumn evening, as the moonlight shimmered on the lush green hillside, Harrison Gray sat alone in his spacious office. The dim desk lamp cast a faint glow on the scattered files and papers, bearing witness to the long nights he had spent investigating the truth behind the death of his beloved wife, Sophia. Years had passed, and Harrison had silently gathered information, analyzing every tiny piece of the puzzle. Finally, he had uncovered a horrifying truth. The car accident that took Sophia's life was not a random incident, but the result of a calculated plot. Harrison's eyes were lost in thought, his heart filled with confusion and anger. He couldn't believe that the people he had trusted and worked with could be involved in this conspiracy. Suspicion began to spread, not only towards those around him, but also within his own company. Every relationship seemed to blur, and Harrison felt like he was standing in the middle of a labyrinth with no escape. In the following days, Harrison's tension grew. He became more withdrawn, often sitting silently, staring at his computer screen, replaying the footage from the security cameras. Small noises in the mansion and hushed conversations among the staff became more suspicious than ever. Harrison began to watch everyone around him, trying to detect any sign of betrayal. One late night, as Harrison was working, Mia Collins happened to notice the fatigue and worry etched on his face. She had witnessed the subtle changes in his behavior, from sitting alone in his office to the distant gazes towards the window. Concerned for his mental well-being, Mia decided she needed to do something. When everyone had fallen asleep, Mia quietly entered Harrison's office. She sat down beside him on the soft leather chair, her eyes filled with concern and understanding. "Mia, is there something you need?" Harrison looked up, his eyes tired but still resolute. "Mia, are you all right? You seem more stressed and worried," Mia began, her voice soft but laced with concern. Harrison sighed, looking out the window where the moonlight still shone. "You don't understand, Mia. I've discovered the truth about Sophia's accident. It wasn't a random incident. It was a plot. But now I don't know who to trust anymore. Everyone around me could be an enemy. Mia listened attentively, her eyes filled with sympathy. You've done something very brave, Harrison, but you also need to stay calm. Hatred and suspicion will only make you feel more alone. Oliver needs you here, in the present, to recover and be happy. Harrison turned to look at Mia, his eyes filled with pain. You don't understand, Mia. I lost my beloved wife, and now my son is also enduring this pain. All I want is to find the truth and avenge Sophia. Mia placed a hand on Harrison's shoulder, feeling the tension radiating from him. You've done so much for your family, but don't let hatred consume your life. Let the love and care for Oliver be the motivation to help you overcome this. We can find a way to deal with those behind this plot more rationally and safely. Harrison looked down, his heart filled with conflicting emotions. I know you're right, Mia, but the feeling of loss and anger isn't easy to let go of. I just want the truth to be revealed so no one else has to suffer like we have. Mia smiled gently. Her eyes lit up with determination. You don't have to fight alone. I'm here to support you and Oliver. We'll get through this together. Don't let the past control your future. Harrison felt a warmth spread through him, like a final glimmer of hope igniting a flame in his heart. Thank you, Mia. You truly are precious to my family. Mia squeezed Harrison's hand, her gaze conveying firmness and trust. We'll find the truth together and protect your family. Let love and unity guide us. In that moment, Harrison felt his loneliness dissipate. Mia's presence brought him renewed strength, a belief that even though life was full of challenges and hardships, with love and support from loved ones, the Gray family would overcome any obstacle together. The next day, with Mia's support, Harrison began to plan his investigation more carefully. She helped him analyze data, search for new clues, and even suggested ways to keep information secure to avoid detection. Meanwhile, Mia continued to care for Oliver with dedication, helping him maintain his mental and physical well-being during his recovery. One day, as Harrison and Mia were reviewing the investigation files, they noticed a recurring pattern in the accidents of Harrison's business rivals. This further confirmed Harrison's suspicion that a group of people were deliberately trying to take him down to seize his assets and power within the company. Harrison, look at this. Mia pointed to a line of data on the computer screen. There seems to be a recurring pattern in these accidents. We need to dig deeper to identify those behind it. Harrison nodded. His eyes lit up with renewed determination. Indeed, we need to find a way to prove all of this without being detected. What do you think about gathering more evidence and contacting people we can trust? Mia thought for a moment before answering. Perhaps we should start by re-examining the most loyal employees in the company. They might know something we don't. Harrison smiled slightly, feeling Mia's support strengthening his resolve. That's right. Let's start with those we know are most trustworthy. In the following weeks, Harrison and Mia worked tirelessly to gather evidence and identify those behind the conspiracy. Mia's companionship and support not only helped Harrison maintain his spirit, but also created a warm family environment for Oliver. In the evenings, after finishing their work, they would sit together, sharing thoughts and feelings, strengthening the bond between them. One evening, as the family gathered around the dinner table, Oliver told them about new adventures in his imagination. Harrison sat beside him, feeling happiness spread through his heart. He looked at Mia with grateful eyes. You truly are special, Mia. You not only helped Oliver, but also helped me find joy in life again." Mia smiled. Her eyes lit up with warmth. "I'm just doing what I can to support your family, and I'm very happy to see things starting to get better." Harrison felt that he was no longer haunted by the past. With Mia's support and his love for Oliver, he knew he could overcome any challenge. The Gray family began to write new chapters, filled with hope and love, promising to face any difficulty together and build a brighter future. However, the conspiracy against Harrison was not over. His next steps would have to be more cautious than ever, as potential enemies still lurked in the shadows. But with patience, compassion, and love, Harrison believed that he and the Gray family would overcome all obstacles and find the peace and happiness they deserved. Gradually, Harrison began to realize that Mia was not just Oliver's nanny, but also a source of light that helped him through his darkest days. Mia's smiles, dedication, and compassion ignited a spark of hope in Harrison's heart that he hadn't felt in a long time. The evenings he used to spend alone in his office were now filled with warm moments alongside Mia and Oliver. Harrison realized he had fallen in love with her without even knowing it. But he also knew that Mia deserved sincerity, not a life bound by hatred and fear. One night, the pitch-black sky was punctuated by flashes of lightning and the roar of thunder. Strong winds whipped through the trees surrounding the Gray mansion, creating a chaotic and dramatic atmosphere. Harrison was working on his laptop in the living room when he suddenly heard gasps and frantic laughter from Oliver's room. Oliver squeezed past him, and sometimes squeezed past him back, depending on where he was. "What's wrong, Oliver?" Harrison called out with concern. Moments later, Mia rushed into the living room, her face worried but still calm. "Harrison, Oliver is having trouble breathing. We need to help him immediately." Harrison quickly got up and rushed to Oliver's room. He found his son sitting up in bed, drenched in sweat and gasping for air. Mia had quickly placed a hand on Oliver's shoulder, gently guiding him to take deep breaths and exhale slowly. "Harrison, let's help him," Mia said, in a soft but powerful voice. Yes, faced the terrors up close and tried to stay calm. Oliver took his shoulder and took his son's hand and tried to stay calm. "Oliver, Dad is here. You don't have to endure this alone. And you have to give him the benefit of the doubt." Oliver tried to smile, but the worry in his eyes was still evident. "Dad, I don't want to." Mia continued to guide Oliver, and together with Harrison, they counted his breaths, each taking slow, steady breaths. Gradually, Oliver's breathing difficulties began to subside, and although he was still panting, he was more stable. The sound of rain and wind whistling through the large windows created a chaotic soundscape, but in that moment, there was only peace and connection between the three of them. When Oliver had fallen asleep, Harrison and Mia sat down beside his bed. A brief silence filled the room, leaving only the sound of Oliver's steady breathing. "Harrison," Mia began, her voice soft but determined. "You need to tell her." Harrison turned to look at Mia, his heart pounding faster than ever. He felt the sincerity and affection in her eyes. "Mia, I feel like I've changed a lot since you came here. Your presence has brought light back into my family that I had lost." Mia nodded, her eyes still filled with understanding. "Harrison, you've done so much for Oliver and your family. I'm just doing what I can to help, but I also see the positive change in you and Oliver. You don't have to endure this alone anymore." Harrison felt a surge of powerful emotions. "I realized that I fell in love with you a long time ago, But I also know that this feeling isn't simple. You deserve sincerity and happiness, not a life bound by fear and past wounds. Mia gently placed her hand on Harrison's, feeling the tremor from his heart. Harrison, I also feel something special between us, but I understand that this feeling needs to be built on trust and understanding. Let's overcome these difficulties together and find happiness for ourselves and Oliver. Harrison looked deep into Mia's eyes, seeing the sincerity and affection she had for him. I need you, Mia, not just for Oliver, but for myself too. I can't continue living in loneliness like this. I want you by my side to build a brighter future together. Mia smiled, her eyes filled with hope. I want that too, Harrison. Let's overcome all challenges and create a happy family. In that moment, Harrison felt his heart warmer and more hopeful than ever. He knew that even though life was full of hardships and challenges, with love and support from Mia and Oliver, the Gray family would overcome any adversity and build a brighter future. The next morning, the soft light of dawn filtered through the window panes, illuminating the living room where Harrison and Mia were sitting together. Oliver had woken up, still feeling tired, but the smile on his face was brighter than before. Last night was tough, Mia said, her voice still laced with worry. But we made it. Oliver's recovering. Harrison looked at Mia with gratitude. I don't know how to thank you. Your calmness and dedication saved Oliver last night. Mia smiled softly, her eyes sparkling. It's my job, but actually, you were very strong too. You were the one who stood by your son's side. Oliver sat beside them, looking at Harrison and Mia with innocent eyes. Dad, Mia, last night was memorable. I felt much stronger with you both by my side. Mia looked at Oliver with love and care. That's right, Oliver. We will overcome all difficulties together and create more beautiful memories. As time passed, the bond between Harrison, Mia, and Oliver grew stronger. Harrison began to spend more time with Oliver, joining him in physical therapy sessions and light recreational activities. Mia was not only a caregiver, but also a close friend, always listening and sharing with them. One afternoon, Harrison invited Mia for a walk in the vast gardens of the Gray mansion. The surroundings were filled with the colors of spring, blooming flowers, and singing birds. Harrison felt relieved to have Mia by his side as they sat together on a bench under the cool shade of a tree. Harrison, you've changed so much since Mia arrived, an old housekeeper named Linda commented softly as she watched them. You seem to have found joy and balance in your life again. Harrison smiled, feeling warmth in his heart. Indeed, Linda, Mia's presence has brought many good things to our family. She not only takes care of Oliver, but also helped me find myself again. Linda nodded, her eyes looking at Mia with affection. Mia is truly special. She has done wonders for the Gray family. There is a big sign unique. She is of high bloodline, and her family line extends even to the Pace's daughter. Mia smiled gently, feeling the warmth and affection from those around her. Thank you, Linda. I'm just doing what I can to help Oliver and your family. Punch, oh punch. It was all right. He couldn't stop it. Safety in first place. Yet, all around him, everything seemed to be flipped upside down. On another gentle evening, after the family had dinner and Oliver had fallen asleep, Harrison invited Mia to sit beside him in the living room. The warm yellow lights created an intimate and peaceful atmosphere. Harrison, is there something you want to tell me? Mia asked, looking at him with loving eyes. Mia was silent for a moment, her eyes sparkling with emotion. Harrison, I feel the same way. Your presence and Oliver's have changed my life. I want us to build a better future together. Harrison gazed deep into Mia's eyes, sensing the sincerity and love in her gaze. I know we have a lot to overcome, but I believe that with love and support for each other, we can do it. Mia smiled, placing her hand on Harrison's. Let's walk this path together, Harrison, to build a happy family and overcome all difficulties. Harrison felt a surge of powerful emotions. He knew that even though life might still be full of challenges, with love and support from Mia and Oliver, the Gray family would overcome any hardship and build a brighter future. Time continued to pass, and the Gray family gradually rediscovered happiness and peace. Harrison was no longer the lonely and cold man he once was, but now a devoted father and a loving man. Mia was not just a nanny, but also a life partner and an important companion in their lives. One beautiful summer day, Harrison organized a small party in the garden, inviting close friends, and former housekeepers Mia and Oliver also joined, creating a cheerful atmosphere filled with laughter. Harrison stood among the crowd watching the happy smiles around him, feeling joy and fulfillment in his heart.